My husband is a pedophile. Ask me anything. This year I found child pornography produced by my husband on his PC. I called the police and he was arrested. There is an active court case currently in progress, so I may have to skirt around some specifics when it comes to the case. My friends and family have been very supportive but also have been morbidly curious about the ins and outs of everything. I thought this may be something interesting to discuss here on Reddit. Feel free to AMA. Edit 18.53 BST, didn't realize this would blow up as much as it has. Going to cook dinner and I'll be back in a couple of hours to answer more questions, smiley face. Edit 21:57 BST, back for an hour or so, smiley face. Edit 12/29/29/07/2019 BST, going to bed. Will reply to any remaining questions at some point tomorrow. Have a great evening and thank you for the positive vibes and questions. What was your first reaction? I was in shock, adrenaline took over and I had the shakes. Initially I thought he was having an affair, but when I realized what I had seen I called a friend, sister-in-law of one of the children. When I spoke with her it clarified in my mind that this was big bad and I needed to call the police. I spent most of that day shaking and drinking lots of tea. It was only an hour or so in that it dawned on me that my life was about to change in a drastic way. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Shit, what about the house? What about husband's name? What about kids' names? I have been a lurker on Reddit for over 6 years. I finally signed up a user account today just so that I could leave this comment. Thank you. You are doing the right thing. I am a 35-year-old man. Have dealt with PTSD and repressed memories from childhood sexual abuse. I will never see my violator brought to justice because everyone involved was too scared or confused to do anything about it when I was a helpless child. Again. Thank you. You are doing the right thing and in your own way you are a hero. Do not be afraid of the fallout from this, you are on the side of justice. Thank you for sharing your story, I hope you have found peace. May that scum rot in hell. Were you guys married for a long time? If so, was there any suspicion or hints he gave along the way? This sounds like an incredibly tough situation to be in, all the best with coming to terms with it, Black Heart. We have been together for around 10 years and married for around 3. At the time I was blind to it, but in retrospect there were definitely some things I should have spotted. He was always interested in supporting younger girls and had quite a few on Snapchat. He was in his 30s, but I generally thought that he was being helpful and kind to our extended family and friendship group. He was generally quite a tactile person and enjoyed snuggling up with a blanket on the sofa with friends, so when he was also doing this with young teens this didn't ring any alarm bells for me. There were also a few times that he was alone at home with children, but I saw this as babysitting. Something that I am having to deal with a therapist is learning what is normal behavior. I don't want to be skeptical of everyone in the world because only a small minority of people have bad intentions, but equally in the future with relationships I want to be aware of red flags. I don't have any questions, but I read how you found it and didn't ask him, you just turned him in. And I really want to just say how grateful I am that people like you exist in the world. Because frankly that's a shitty situation and we'd all wonder why, but why frankly just isn't the priority in that situation, and he can answer that in jail. Thank you. I have a number of friends who tell me that I have been brave, but honestly it just felt like the right thing to do, nothing brave about that. How are the victims dealing with his arrest and his crimes becoming public? Was he making videos and images for his own collection, or was it an attempt to sell/trade with other pedophiles? Scary to imagine those images floating around the internet forever. Was his suicide comment a reflection of his own guilt around the circumstances or something unrelated? What are the ways in which you've found healing? You are incredibly brave and selfless for reporting him. Thank you for being a good person. I say this as a male victim of abuse when I was underage. How are the victims dealing with his arrest and his crimes becoming public? They've struggled, they were groomed and believed that they were in relationships with him, so that has been hard with them to get their heads around. Also learning that what has happened to them is wrong. The crimes haven't been publicly reported yet, i.e. local press, but I imagine when it goes to court it probably will. I hope that their names aren't released as part of this though. Was he making videos and images for his own collection, or was it an attempt to sell/trade with other pedophiles? Scary to imagine those images floating around the internet forever. I hope and believe that they were for his own personal collection, but I don't know. Was his suicide comment a reflection of his own guilt around the circumstances or something unrelated? I'm not sure if it was a true reflection of his guilt or him manipulating me. One of the people he turned to for help with his suicide comment was the mother of one of the children, which could indicate either. What are the ways in which you've found healing? Counseling, lots of tea, mindfulness, kitten cuddles, sleep, spending time with my amazing friends, looking at the bright side of situations, drinking lots of water, going for walks, medication. I'm certainly not there yet, but trying my best to put in healthy behaviors to help. You are incredibly brave and selfless for reporting him. Thank you for being a good person. I say this as a male victim of abuse when I was underage. Thank you. I hope that you have found healing and peace from your situation. I can't even imagine. Others have already asked what I was wondering, but just wanted to say thank you for doing the right thing. Aw, thank you. My mantra over the last 6 months has been it is what it is. Honestly, just feels so surreal. Like, this is something that happens to other people. Has this situation inflicted damage on your self-esteem, or do you realize it's a him thing? Massively. From a physical perspective, I don't feel attractive. From a mental capacity, due to the situation, my memory has gone to pot and I struggle at work. I'm usually quite a high-achieving person, and the fact that I am not mentally as capable has really knocked my confidence. I hope through self-care, the amazing support network that I have, and professional help that I will start to rebuild and gain my self-esteem again. What was the folder called? It was hidden in a program file. I can't remember the specific path, but it was something like program name /common/up/setup/general. Do people treat you as if you have committed the crime too, or are they supportive of what you did once you found out? At this moment in time, only the families involved, a few of my friends and my employer are aware of the situation. All of the people who I have spoken to have been very supportive of me. However, I am concerned when it becomes public knowledge I may run into issues, e.g. if my neighbors find out, they may not know that I was the one who handed him in. How do you feel about him and the time you have spent with him in retrospect? It's really difficult to believe that my husband has done all of this. I find it easier to think of my husband and the pedophile as two different people. I believe he must have some sociopathic tendencies to have been able to have led a double life. In retrospect, I have realized that he was quite manipulative with me, and I didn't see this at the time. In another breath, I spent 10 years of my life with him and learned and grew as a person. We shared so many fond experiences, and I can't write those chapters out of my story. I thank him for making me the person I am today, but it is really difficult for me to accept how much evil he has done. The more evidence that has come out as part of the court case, the more I realize the person who I knew and loved wasn't real. I don't know how much sense that makes, but I hope it answers your question. Don't have a question, just wanted to say that was very good of you to turn in the evidence. Sorry you have to go through that. Thank you. Was the first thing on your mind to get him imprisoned, or did you consider discussing this matter with him and seeing if you could work it out? I think I was in shock initially when I realized what the images and videos were. To begin with, I thought he was cheating on me, and then I noticed that I recognized the children in the images. I called a friend prior to calling the police, and I remember distinctly asking her, "This is police bad, isn't it?" When I called the police, I don't think I was aware of the consequences of that action. It was only afterwards that it dawned on me how much my life was going to be turned upside down. I haven't wanted to speak with my husband because I don't want him to try and win me back over. Have you talked to the parents of the children, or any of the children that you recognized/know from the images? What has that conversation been like? I can't imagine having to go through this. As a parent, thank you for doing the right thing. What a nightmare. Yes, I have. Luckily, I didn't have to be the one who broke the news, as I gave the information to the police and they spoke with the parents. He had groomed the children into believing that they were in relationships with him, and if they told anyone that it would ruin their families and break up his family too. One of the children originally denied it when the police came, but later confessed. Conversations have been hard but necessary. We're all on the same side, so to speak, so have been very supportive of each other. One of the parents wanted me to go into all of the details, which was hard, but I felt it was necessary for her to hear it because she really wanted to know. Because I am not a victim of the crimes, the police haven't really been keeping me up to date, so I've been receiving updates via the parents of the victims regarding the case. How did he have access to children? Siblings of friends, children of friends and young family members. His preferred age seems to be 11 to 14-year-olds, and we have always been quite helpful with friends and family when it came to child minding or having them over for movie/game nights alongside the rest of the family. It looks like he has mainly groomed them over Snapchat.